Hi guys, so I've always wanted to do a book review before, sort of, I think, and I was just thinking of other types of videos I could do on this channel because my channel is not just about makeup, as you can tell in the username, it's Makeup and Beyond 101. So obviously I can talk about so many other things just in makeup, but you guys are not really commenting and telling me what else to do videos on, so I kind of just have to think for my own, which isn't a bad thing. But I just kind of wanted to do videos that you guys wanted to see. And I like watching people talk about books and stuff like that, so I thought maybe I could talk about a book that I love so much, and I can encourage you guys to want to read this book before the third one comes out, which is in September or October. I think it's October. The book that you might have guessed already by me holding it up is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I should know that by now. Veronica Roth, and I've read this book like twice, but I've read parts of it like 50 times because you know when you really like a book and you kind of doggy tag or doggy ear tag, whatever, the parts of the book that you really like and you go back and you reread them and you reread them because you like them so much. That's what I do, or with this book. Because a lot of the parts in this book are so much more interesting than other parts, and I feel like to get into this book you have to kind of read a lot of it to really understand everything. You can't just really pick up anywhere, and if you don't like this type of book or this kind of genre, you won't really like this book. Maybe, I mean, I love books like this. It's kind of a dystopian society type of thing, and I love books like that. I'll read you the back. It says, "One choice decides your friends, one choice defines your beliefs, one choice determines your loyalties forever, one choice can transform you." This book is about a girl named Beatrice who, in the end, decides that her name is Tris. But anyway, her name is Beatrice, and she lives in this dystopian society where there are like five different parts in her place where she lives, but they're called factions, not with an R, not fractions, but factions, and each faction has its own kind of personality type of thing per se. The faction that she lives in is abnegation, I think that's how you say it, I'm not sure, but the ones that live there, they don't like draw attention to themselves, and they're really concerned about other people, and they don't really care about themselves. They all live in the same houses, all wear the same boring clothes, and they all are like really obedient to their parents and stuff like that. And then there's the amity where like all the people kind of get along, and they are more of like the artsy type. Then there's the candor who tell the absolute truth to everyone. They don't lie at all, so that's why they can come off kind of rude sometimes because they just say what they think, and which is kind of cool, but anyway. Then there's the dauntless ones who are like adrenaline junkies, and they just kind of do crazy things, and they take risks, and they just wear like crazy clothes, and they get tattoos and stuff like that. And then there's a erudite who are kind of like the more smart ones. They like to learn new things, and they like to read books, and they're like super smart and intelligent. When you reach the age of 16, you go through this simulation. It's kind of like an injection, and then you go through this hallucination thing, and then you have to do this puzzle type of thing, this trial in your head, and whatever your outcome is kind of decides for you which fraction that you're going to be in and where you're going to live in for the rest of your life, so you can leave your parents and you can leave your siblings and stuff like that, and you won't ever see them again because you cannot go back to your other faction. So once you leave, and if you stay, then you stay. Most people leave, but some people do stay because that's what they are, told or decided to stay. You can't choose for yourself. You have to go through the simulation, and whatever that comes out is what you really are. But then, so she ends up getting the two or three choices, I can't remember, and that is why she's divergent, because not a lot of people do that, and when you do that, it's dangerous, because you're like all three, and then like the leaders want to kill you and stuff because you think differently than the people there. And then she falls in love with her leader, or her instructor, who is Tobias, or that's kind of like a big part in the book. So his name is Four, actually, and he's 18, she's 16, and he kind of starts to like her because she's different than everybody else, and she's not the same, and she doesn't really care, and she's just, I think that personally inside she's really strong, And so then they have little moments back and forth between each other, and then he saves her from almost being killed, and then they end up getting together, and then they tell each other they love each other, and it's a love story, but it's also really cool because it's also about government and politics and stuff like that. Well, not so much politics, but government, and overall it's just a really cool story. I don't want to tell you a whole lot of it because it's just amazing to read for yourself. When I finished this book, I started crying because if you like these types of books, this book is like the best. And I'm like a sucker for romantic stuff and like falling in love and like perfect couples and things like that. So I just cried because it's not my life and I wanted it to be. I feel like my life was over and I didn't know what to do, and this took a lot of my time. Like, I chose to read this instead of like doing my homework and stuff. So my favorite passage or part from the book is on page 336 and 337. I'll just read a small part of it. So right now they're kind of by like this beachy place thing, and it's at night, and Four and Tris are talking right now. So let's pick up about how she is like not, like she thinks she's something else, but then she says, yeah, well, I left Abnegation, which is her faction, because I wasn't selfless enough, no matter how hard I tried to be. And then Tobias says, that's not entirely true. That girl who let someone throw knives at her to spare a friend, who hit my dad with a belt to protect me, that selfless girl, that's not you. He's figured out more about me than I have, and even though it seems impossible that he could feel something for me, given all that I'm not, maybe it isn't. I frown at him. You've been paying close attention, haven't you? And then he says, I like to observe people. And then Tris says, maybe you were cut out for Candor because you're a terrible liar. And then he puts his hand on the rock next to him. He puts his hand on the rock next to him, his fingers lining up with mine. I look down at our hands. He has long, narrow fingers, hands made for fine, deft movements, not for dauntless hands, which should be thick and tough and ready to break things. Fine. He leans his face closer to mine, his eyes focusing on my chin and my lips and my nose. I watched you because I like you. Ah! He says it plainly, boldly, and his eyes flick up to mine. And don't call me Four, okay? It's nice to hear my name again, which is Tobias. Just like that, he has finally declared himself, and I don't know how to respond. My cheeks warm, and all I can think to say is, but you're older than I am, ... Tobias. He smiles at me. Yes, that whopping 2-year gap really is insurmountable, isn't it? I think that's so cute. Like, he's older, but, like, he doesn't care. He understands that she's still, she's really mature even though she's a little bit younger. I'm not trying to be self-depreciating, I say. I just don't get it. I'm younger. I'm not pretty. He laughs a deep laugh that sounds like it came from deep inside him. He touches his lips to my temple. Don't pretend, I say breathily. You know I'm not. I'm not ugly, but I'm certainly not pretty. Fine. You're not pretty. So? He kisses my cheek. I like how you look. You're deadly smart, you're brave, and even though you found out about Marcus, ... His voice softens. You aren't giving me that look like I'm a kicked puppy or something. Well, I say, you're not. And then they kiss and whatever. It's just really cute. And I love the story behind it, and it's just written super, super well, in my opinion. Some people say it's not, but I think it is. The second book, however, is nothing compared to the first one. I love this first one a lot better than the second one. I'm not going to tell you why. It would just give it away. Things happen, and so, yeah. I don't know what else to say about this book. I just really like it. I think Veronica Roth is amazing. Everything about this book just draws me in. It's just amazing. I wish I didn't read it so I can reread it and not already know what's going to happen. But anyway, leave comments down below on other books you'd want me to read or do reviews on. Or other types of things like that, because this is actually really fun and I like talking about books and I love reading books. I'm like the biggest bookworm. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I love books. And yeah, just tell me other things that you want to see, and thank you for watching. Bye!